Welcome back everybody, and I hope you all had a Merry Christmas, and I hope you all have an excellent New Year. It's just a bit of a follow-up. I know I haven't done, I do apologise for my videos that I haven't put out because obviously I've been laid up. It's been 6 weeks since my op. I'm doing well. I've got 90-degree bend on the leg, on the knee now, and I can walk without a stick around the house. I do, and I can outside, but I do take a stick with me, because you need that for a little bit of support if it starts to ache. And I would like to thank all the people with the messages of, you know, get well soon, I hope you recover well, and this and other. I do appreciate it. And I've been able to help some people that are a bit worried about their having op done, and they're a bit scared, and to put it bluntly, you know, needles and visiting the hospital doesn't bother me, but I was concerned about this op, and I've got to admit, but having gone through it, I have passed it on to others now that there's no need to be. I've come through it okay, and there's no reason why they shouldn't. You know, the whole situation that I went through from starting the operation, or going in the day I went in, and coming home, which were a day and a half later, was so smooth, and the recovery, thanks to me wife and my family, my daughter and my son, you know, and my brother and nephew, they've all mucked in and helped where needed, because you do need that help for a fortnight. I would say at least a fortnight, 3 weeks. And all I've passed on to everybody is do exactly what the hospital tell you to do. You know, painkillers, ice when resting the leg, raised when resting the leg, and also you must keep doing the exercises that you're able to do. It's an absolute must, that, and you will come through it. And I've got still a couple of months to go before it's healed. I mean, the wound's healed absolutely spot on. So, but the video isn't about this. It's about situation that I came across with my central heating system. Now, I'm no central heating expert, and I'm no plumber. I will get somebody in to do that. I can do a little bit of joint soldering and what have you, but I'm not a plumber. And the situation I had with the central heating system, which is a Worcester Bosch, it's a Green Star. I think it's a I can't remember, it's a 3020 or something like that. Anyway, it's got the, it's not the basic one where you can't alter the temperature of the water. It's set, I can alter the temperature of the water, and I can alter the temperature of the central heating. And I noticed over the Christmas period it was losing pressure, and I was having to top it up every 2 to 3 days, and it was dropping. One particular day I thought radiators are a bit cool at top upstairs, I'll top them up now. When I come to try and bleed them, a little bit came out and it stopped, so I knew there was a pressure drop. So I went down, checked the boiler, and sure enough, the gauge, the pressure gauge, read 0, which I knew it lost its pressure somewhere. And it can only go in really 2 places. That's your heating system, that's your radiators, your pipe work and everything from your boiler, or it can come from your boiler, which is there is things in your boiler that can leak it, and it would leak it to a expansion pipe outside. Well, I soon realised that it wasn't that, because the extent you would have a drip of water from it with nothing, it would both dry. Excuse me. So what I checked on further investigation. I was checking the ceilings to see if there were any leaking pipe works, went round all the valves, and I couldn't find anything. So I thought, well, it's somewhere where I'm going to have to rip the floorboards up, carpet up and everything else. I thought, no. So I thought, right, what I'll do is I'll go into my workshop, and I know there's a drain tap there at the bottom for the last radiator, the lowest point where you have one, just a simple drain tap. And I looked and I noticed straight away on the concrete floor that it was all wet. So I'd obviously found the area of the leak. So I couldn't obviously move the motorcycle out, and I couldn't move some of the machinery because I couldn't risk banging my knee. So my brother came round and we moved it out, and sure enough, and it didn't leak under heating, because it obviously expands as where it was leaking from and seals, so it had to be cold. So I'd left the heating off just to check, and sure enough, the actual little drain cock is leaking. Now I've got the new one that I got, and I will show you that, and I'll go down and show you where the leak was. Now obviously this was dripping quite badly, so I put a jug under it, and overnight at about a third of a pint of water, that's enough to drop your central heating system quite considerably. So I knew that I had to either open that up if it's a bit of a seat problem, and then close it, and then hoping that stops it, simple fix, or it would be unsweating the joint and actually putting a new one in, which meant draining the system. So I have a friend that's a plumber, and I spoke to him, and he said, right, he said, what you've got to do is you go to all your radiators and turn your radiators off, all the valves off, thermostat valves to off, and the other valve on the radiator, because you've obviously to close them, every radiator in the house. Yeah, he said, then go down to the actual drain cock and open it. You can put a jug underneath or a bowl underneath. You don't need a hose pipe at this stage, because what it'll do is, because you've closed the radiators, and I didn't realise this, and he was right in what he said, and in his years of experience, and he said, once you open that drain cock, you'll get some water to come out, maybe about a litre, just over a litre you probably get out, then it'll slow and virtually stop. And I thought, is that gonna, he said, yes, it will work, because what happens is, because you've shut everything off and air can't get in at the top, if you were draining your system, you open a bleed valve on a radiator and leave all your radiators open, so that lets air in, so it lets the water out. Hence, when you open that tap, when you've shut everything, air can't get in, so what it does do is it creates a vacuum which holds back the water. It lets the initial bit out. Well, I actually got probably about a litre out, if that. And I took the actual drain cock and then tried closing it, went back, and because obviously you've lost a little bit of pressure out of your system, pressurise the system. This is what he told me to do. So I pressurised the system again. I realised that the dripping was even worse, so I thought, my God, I'm going to have to cut into the system, take this out, and obviously he said, if you're not confident in that, cut the pipe further up and replace right down to your radiator with push fit, a plastic pipe. If you're not happy at doing that, well, I thought I'll solder one. It's only a simple joint there, I can solder one. It's on a T-piece, so I'll solder it. So when I took the actual thing, you could see the seat was actually ruined. At this point I didn't realise what that seat was, because it was rock solid, was the seat, and I thought, yeah, it's definitely, you know, it's something like the bleed valves on the radiators. So I went down to Screwfix, a local Screwfix, and I purchased a new one, a complete new drain valve. When I got the drain valve home, I thought, wait a minute here. I took the actual insert with the seat on out of the new one, and I looked, and lo and behold, it had a tap washer on, small one. And I thought, that's strange. The one I took out, it wouldn't fit centre for centre. It wouldn't fit with a different type, but it would have fit on the pipe if I'd soldered it on. So hence I had a look at the seat on the one that I took out, and what it was there was a rubber, like a tap washer there, and when I looked, it had gone absolutely rock hard. It felt like the metal. So I got a Stanley knife and I eventually cleaned it all and got the tap washer, the old one, off, and it just fell apart. It was really hard. Cleaned it all up, wire brushed it all, took the tap washer off the new one, popped it on, put it in, and it absolutely worked perfectly. And I did not know that this drain valve had what they call a tap washer in. I thought it was a metal seat to seat. I had no idea. It had a little tap washer in. So the reason why I'm doing this video is it might just help somebody out there that's having the same problem and worrying about draining the system and this and other. Trust me on this, it worked. I could take the drain valve out with water in the system, with all the radiators closed, all the valves closed. And once I'd lost that initial litre of water, I kept the bowl there just in case. I lost no more than about a litre of water, which means you don't have to put more inhibitor in to the system. I knew there were more than enough in, and I thought, I can't believe, I thought it was going to be a nightmare of a fix, and it was a simple washer. Now what I'm going to do is I'll take you down into the workshop, I'll show you the valve, and I'll show you what I mean, and then I'll show you the boiler. And it's just a little bit of help for somebody. I thought because nowadays there's that many things that can go wrong with the technology in your house, central heating system, cookers, you know, washing machines, electrics, everything, that you need to be able to at least try and source something yourself if you're confident at doing that. And as I say, my friend that told me was absolutely spot on. He just thought it would nip up, and when I spoke back to him, he said, I never thought about telling you about the tap washer inside, because they very rarely fail. But he said, when was the last time yours was open? Well, I said 10 years ago. Well, it's just hardened. It's deteriorated through age. He said, when you put it back in, do you put the from the new one in? It's the same size. I said, yes, I did. Did you over tighten it? I said, no, I know not to do that. I just nipped it until I got a nice little seal, and it's fired the system back up, pressurized it, and it's holding its pressure now. So where a lot of people would have probably called a plumber out to have fixed that, or central heating engineer, thinking it's the boiler and have a hefty bill, just check that drain valve. Most central heating systems have a drain valve to drain the system. So if it's tucked away somewhere and you're not really find it, always know where it is, because my friend did say that he's done a lot where they've leaked, and he said he's had to just replace them, or the washer inside. So what I'll do is I'm going to take you downstairs, show you the boiler, and I'll show you exactly the part that I purchased, and I'll show you the part on my central heating system where the drainage is. Okay, so let's go down in workshops. Might take me a bit of time, but it'll be a split second for yourselves. I have to go one step at a time, but I get there. So see you down there shortly. Right, here we have my boiler, eventually down here. Now this is the Worcester Bosch. I've had it a number of years, and it's been an excellent boil. And you can see mine, my temperature control of the radiators, which is there, and temperature control of the water, which is on economy. Okay, I'm not going to show you how to charge the system, because you do that from underneath, and it's pretty simple enough. But you can see the gauge there. Now at the moment it's cold, there's no central heating on, and I normally set mine at just over a bar, probably 1.2 bar. Okay, now when that heating gets up in the boiler, that'll go up to nearly just over 1.5 bars, because obviously expansion, it creates pressure in the system. Now that was dropping rather quickly, so that's holding its own, and it's nice and steady now. So that part's fixed, and what I'll do now is I'll actually show you the actual component on my drain valve and the drain valve on my system. Okay, right, this is the drain valve on my system. I'll point out with this brush handle. That's the spout where you put the hose pipe on. Okay, you can see it probably a bit better there now. That's the little square key that you undo, and that brings out the valve, the internal valve. Okay, so you'd open that up, put a hose pipe on and drain your system. Okay, so it was dripping from there all the time. That is what I replaced. I took it out. Once I'd created the vacuum, no more, lost a litre of water, it held. And I'll show you the new one now that I've got. Right, here we are at the part. Now as you saw on the wall, that was sort of like that. Sorry, it was soldered into a T-junction which went up here. Okay, and I bought a complete new one to put in. But when you take this out, that comes off. Now the old ones that's on the pipework is different. Okay, it didn't have this in two parts, it came out all together. Okay, so as you can see on the end there, that had a tap washer on. Now this is slightly bigger than what's required, so it won't go back in there. I've taken the original one off of this, and as you can see there, that just pops over, and that's all I did. I took this off, and the other one looks like that once I cleaned it up, because the actual rubber washer had gone rock hard on there. I didn't realise it. I thought it was metal, so I cleaned it off, popped it off here, put it on the old one, put it back in, nipped it up, and it all worked perfectly. Right, we're back up from workshop. I've just thought the video is just to help those out there a little bit, that you know, you might get somebody come and have to fix your boiler and you realise that you could have done it yourself. As I say, I'm not a plumber. I've showed you what it cost me, £1.98 from Screwfix for the little washer that I swapped off. Put it in and it worked perfect. So it just goes to show that with a little bit of ingenuity and a bit of experience from another plumber, I've solved the problem. Just got my solar panels to sort out now. As you're probably not aware, I've got 12 solar panels on the roof, and September time this year, mid-September, I hadn't realised, but the inverter that converts it to the mains from the solar panels from DC to AC went down, and it's not produced any electricity. I'm now trying to get that sorted out, so that's another problem, but at least I've sorted the central heating one out, fingers crossed. Right, I'd just like to say, for all those out there, my subscribers and my viewers, the people that watch my videos, I just hope you all have a happy new year and a prosperous new year, and I'll probably see you in the new year, because this will be the last video I'll be making of 2024. The next one will be 2025. So until then, as I always say, be safe, be careful, and bye for now. Bye.